Welcome to the Furnished Mind. What's good, folks? And don't forget, Christ is King. So apparently Israel has been erased from digital maps from Chinese firms such as Baidu, Alibaba, and it's just a blank, ambiguous territory that's outlined, but it does not specifically highlight the name Israel. Let's kind of take a deeper dive into what's going on here. Israel going unnamed is something that's been going on for a while within that region. A lot of the Arabic nations refuse to acknowledge Israel is a nation, a legitimate nation. So obviously in the Western world, the United Nations, we all recognize Israel as a nation, but they have not, because number one, it destabilized their legitimacy. So as the Israeli-Hamas war intensifies, China has reportedly removed Israel from its online maps. So Wall Street Journal was the first to report this, that, of course, top Chinese companies like Baidu and Alibaba no longer refer to Israel by name. As per the report, the digital maps on Baidu show that demarcations between Israel and the Palestinian territories, but don't identify the country by name. So the fact that even a small nation such as Luxembourg can appear on the map, but Israel has not, first and foremost, that tells us where their allegiances lie. We already know China is seen as the number one competitor to the U.S. for the top spot. And as they veer for the top spot, it's strategic for them to, of course, accompany whatever it is that our enemies are doing, or a lot of the nations in the Middle East, like, for example, Iran. We understand that they fund a lot of the terror activity that's been going on. It's not uncommon to see China, Russia, working alongside Iran and assisting them in whatever way possible, having meetings with our national leaders. That has not been uncommon as of now. It was even reported that leaders were, Vladimir Putin, President Xi, with some of the Arabic leaders in the region, like Qatar and Iran, were meeting together, trying to figure out a peace deal without Western involvement. So the fact that, of course, it shows the demarcations, but it does not specifically list Israel. It lets us know exactly the motive. They're going to move in, they're going to sweep in, they're going to wipe people out, and they're going to say it was an illegitimate occupancy. They're not going to recognize that Israel is a sovereign nation state. They're just going to say that they have illegal settlers, and we have the sole right to self-determination, and we're going to wipe out the people in any way we so choose. So it was first noticed by several Chinese internet users. They were the ones that reported the unusual omission, which has now become a trending topic of discussion within the country. And then, of course, both companies, Alibaba and Baidu, have not offered any official explanation for the changes. But again, we understand what is going on. Since the beginning of the war in Gaza, China has supported a ceasefire to avoid further escalations and human suffering. So, of course, Hamas sweeps in, kills innocent people, at a music festival. Everybody saw the viral video of the girl with her leg just dislocated and deceased in the back of a semi-truck as they paraded her body throughout the town. However, I will say this, China has acknowledged that Israel has the right to self-defense against Hamas after being criticized over its stance in the war. Prior to that, President Xi called for an immediate ceasefire while offering to coordinate with Egypt and other Arab nations to push for a comprehensive, just and lasting solution to the Palestinian issue as soon as possible. Guys, it's not going to happen. We can have peace talks over and over again, but number one, it's not just about territory. Yes, territory plays a large factor in this conflict, but it's not just about territory. Throughout many of the peace deals throughout the years, Israel has offered large amounts of land within those peace deals just to subdue all the rising tensions. But a lot of those peace deals are rejected because, number one, it's not just about Israel. It's about Jerusalem, because the three main monotheistic religions on earth, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, all have a foot in Jerusalem. We all consider it a holy site within all of our religions. Christianity, Judaism, Islam considers it its third holiest site. So it's number one about Jerusalem, but number two, there is an ideology held within what some would consider radical Islamic interpretations, where they call for the ethnic cleansing of Jews as a whole from planet Earth. Not only just Jews, but Christians as well. So they want to eradicate ethnic Jews and anyone that supports Christianity. So they call for that. Some people will say that's a more radical interpretation of the Quran. So I'll leave that for those to discuss. But there's a ulterior motive that we're not being allowed to discuss within mainstream discourse, which is no surprise at all. That it's not just about land. If Israel is recognized by a nation since 1948, the UN has supported them, the US has supported them, majority of the nations on earth has supported them and recognized them as a legitimate nation. All nations have a right to self-determination. If Israel wants to build on their land, that has always been an issue, because they're saying, well, we have the right to self-determination like every other nation on earth, but we're the only nation that's not allowed to dictate the direction we want our nation to go in because of this ongoing conflict. As of now, thousands of people have been killed since Hamas shock assault. That was the deadliest on Israel in its 75-year history. Prime Minister Netanyahu's government has expanded ground operations in Gaza and ruled out any ceasefire because obviously they're upset what Hamas did, killing innocents, children. There's videos of children being killed. There's videos floating around of people being beheaded. They see red. They're like, we have the right to defend our nation, and we're going to punch back twice as hard. And that's Prime Minister Netanyahu's position. So he's already said a ceasefire won't happen, since that would amount to surrendering to Hamas. And lastly, just to state, the U.S. has also taken the position that they should object to a ceasefire. So as of right now, we're starting to see everybody align. There's a new axis forming, and we're starting to see what nations are siding with who. So you guys let me know down in the comments. Obviously, at the end of the day, nobody wants innocent life to be taken. Children, women, that's completely unfair to see that happening. But how should this play out? What's the right way? How do we negotiate a peace deal? What needs to be offered up from both sides or one side for peace to happen? You guys let me know down in the comments. Remember, Christ is King.